In this video, you're going to learn everything you need to know to start playing Celeste in Supervive. We're going to talk about her abilities, playstyle, and then finally, her items and powers that you'll need to know to succeed. My name is Lemur, and I've been rank 1 Celeste for a while now, and this is my guide to help you master Celeste, the Frozen Ballerina. Starting with her abilities. Celeste's LMB sends out homing ice darts that apply shatter stacks onto enemies hit. Once an enemy reaches 8 shatter stacks, they will explode doing AoE damage. When Celeste does any AoE damage, the target will become chilled. Chilled targets are slowed, and when they die, they will also shatter. This creates opportunities for chain reactions of shatter explosions on enemy players and when farming monsters. Your shatter stacks from your LMB is the most important thing to learn in order for you to have kill potential over an enemy. Think of it a bit like a needler from Halo. Stack up a bunch of shots, and then boom, they explode. Celeste's LMB also has a nuanced rate of firing. To start, she will fire 8 regular ice darts at a fast rate. If you continue holding your LMB longer, she will fire 3 larger ice darts that have more range, do double damage, and have no homing tied to them. Knowing when to stop using your LMB to reset the cast versus getting the extra damage and range from the last 3 large ice darts is a big part about mastering Celeste. There is no right or wrong answer of when to hold your LMB longer or shorter, but a good rule of thumb is to keep in mind that you're slowed when using your LMB. So if enemies are aiming at you, it can be a good idea to do quick bursts of ice darts rather than holding it for the extra amounts of time. Finally, the homing and lingering effect of the projectiles make it easier for her to pre-fire her shots and shoot behind walls to keep enemies at bay. That was a lot of stuff to talk about with just Celeste LMB, and hopefully it didn't overwhelm you. But as you will come to learn in Supervive, learning to master your basic attack is arguably one of the most important things to learn on your character. So even if it looks simple, don't overlook its importance. Next up is Celeste's right mouse button, Ice Spear. Celeste throws a spear to her mouse location that deals damage on projectile impact, has a lingering AoE ground slow, and then explodes for even more damage. This ability has 2 charges. You can spam them both back to back, or you can spread them out over a course of a fight. Combining ice spears in between your LMB bursts allows you to eliminate some of the downtime that you wouldn't be doing damage. Sometimes that's good to do, but ultimately how you use your ice spear is dependent on the situation. I would highly encourage new and veteran Celeste players to think more about throwing their spears back to back. Sometimes the slow and zoning from the spear is more important than the damage itself. Finally, this ability also does bonus destructible damage, meaning that it is excellent at taking out destructibles like trees, walls, or Oath's shield. Celeste's E is Ice Wall. This ability summons a wall in front of her that then moves forward. The wall blocks any projectiles it comes across and pushes enemies away. Additionally, the wall, well, acts like a wall. Therefore, it can block things like enemy Celeste ultimates, Oath's ultimate, and more. Her wall is very strong, but has a longer cooldown than most other spells in Supervive. Keep in mind that this wall is indestructible, and therefore some characters have abilities that might destroy it very quickly or even one-shot it. Celeste's left shift is Skate, which I think is the most fun and versatile dash ability in the entire game. Hold down your shift to go the full distance, or if you just tap shift, it will be a shorter dash. The longer you hold your skate down, the longer the cooldown will be. One of the biggest things to master with this ability is to use your skate just enough to get the distance you need so that you're getting a lower cooldown as much as possible. An important thing about this ability is that you're able to use any of your other abilities while skating. For instance, you can skate and use your ice darts. In fact, your ice darts even do more damage while you are skating. You can also use skate in combination with your wall to push people, or even in combination with your ultimate. Hell, you can even use consumables. The ability is endless in its function, and I believe there are many things yet to be discovered about it. Last but not least, Celeste's ultimate is Ice Crash. Press the button once and you will encase yourself in an invulnerable ice block that slows enemies around you. You can reactivate this ability at any time to cancel it. However, if you wait until after 2.75 seconds to reactivate it, you will stun everyone around you that is not hiding behind any walls. This is one of the strongest ultimates in the game at splitting up teams, taking up space, and even in 1v1s to dodge important abilities. Even if you're not landing every single ice crash on enemy players, using the ability to create space for your team is just as good. Zoning ulti. Some things to keep in mind about Ice Crash is that while you are invulnerable, there are enemies and allies that can knock you away, push you forward, or even teleport you. This can work with things like Kingpin's Hook, Void's Teleport, Flow Tornado, or any other knockback. The possibilities here are endless, and definitely try things and learn what you can and can't do. Additionally, there are some abilities and powers in the game that can cause you trouble. For instance, Oath Shield or Tree Grenades block your ultimate. Finally, while you can't use any of your abilities during your ultimate, you can use them before your ultimate. Starting up your skate and then using your Ice Crash will allow you to dash your giant ice cube at them and hopefully explode right where you want to. This is a fun combo to do, but there will definitely be times when you mess up and overshoot or undershoot it. Don't give up and keep trying, it definitely just takes time to learn. By the way, if you've already learned something so far, consider hitting that like button. It would help me out a ton and encourage me to make more videos like these. Let's move on to the playstyle of Celeste. Celeste is one of the few controllers in Supervive and excels at holding space for her team. She doesn't often do the most damage in the game, but the zone control she brings to her team is unparalleled. She's a character that is fairly simple to play, but also has a ton of depth and outplay potential. I would compare her playstyle to champions in League of Legends like Ahri or Lissandra because of her mobility and the way she grabs opponents' attention, or alternatively she is similar to heroes in Overwatch like Mei or D.Va in the ways they stall or split up enemy teams. No matter what you build for, damage or tank, your primary role will be to support your team by creating space with your wall and ultimate abilities. Additionally, sometimes Celeste is referred to as the air traffic controller because of how easy it is for her to spike enemies into the abyss. Becoming familiar with Supervive's unique air combat will prove to be very important to play Celeste. Now it's time to talk about builds. There are two Celeste builds that have grown in popularity, damage and support. The main difference between the two is the equipment and the ability level ups. In Supervive, you can only max out one of your abilities, so choosing your maxed out ability to complement your equipment is ideal. If you're looking to play a damage-focused Celeste build, then I would suggest maxing your Ice Spear for more consistent DPS. If you are looking to play a more supportive playstyle, then I would recommend maxing your Ice Wall to greatly reduce its cooldown and increase its HP. Both damage and support builds are viable, it's up to you on your preference on what you build based on what you find within each game. For your equipment, I would suggest grabbing one mana item. Once you are more experienced in the game, then venturing into the territory of no mana item is something worth trying. The only stat I wouldn't take on Celeste is Omnivamp. She simply doesn't have the damage output to make use of it and doesn't put herself in situations where it would be useful. In summary, here are some equipment that I would suggest for both damage and support. If you want to go damage, find 2 damage items. If you want to go support, find 2 CDR or tanky items. If you find yourself running out of mana, find a mana item. It's really as simple as that, don't overcomplicate it. If you are new to Supervive, don't worry too much about powers to start, but eventually, once you get the basics down, start taking a look at some of them in more depth. I would suggest powers that complement your mobility to get bigger ultimates. Right now things like Angel Wings and Veil Piercer would be excellent choices. Additionally, any power that complements the supportive or control playstyles such as Guardian Angel, Health Packs, Nuke, Sandwall, Tree Prison are also exquisite options. These are bound to change with time, especially as new patches get added, so I would encourage you to experiment and find what powers you like using the most and how you want to use them. I personally learn the best when I watch others play. If you are the same, then come check out my stream twitch.tv/RyanLemur, where I will be playing a ton of Celeste and you can ask any questions while we try to get rank 1 yet again. This video took me a long time to make, and more will be coming soon. Consider subscribing if you want to help me out by just clicking one single button. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace.